This video is brought to you by Squarespace. When it comes to websites, online stores, etc., there's no place to build a beautiful online presence like Squarespace. What's up, son? Welcome back to another dad review, the only series on YouTube with the balls to get down and dirty and critique the most iconic fathers in this thing we call cinema. This week we're talking about maybe one of the most iconic dads, Goofy. Now I'm sure this is going to be a controversial video and the goof heads are going to show up to my place on my daughter's wedding with pitchforks. Because yeah, maybe that thumbnail didn't paint Gustafsson in the best light, but let me tell you, this guy is miles, and I mean miles ahead of Buck, I can't even say it. For the record, I'm only critiquing him from the lens of the first Goofy movie. If I ventured into extremely Goofy movie territory, I might just... I'm kidding, he's not that awful, but let's get into the bad stuff. For one, he's an insanely reckless driver. Let's get some hard, cold facts out of the way. I'd feel much safer venturing out into this place we call Earth if Goofy wasn't allowed to drive. There's one scene in here where he and Max are leaving the city, and after doing some calculations, I can confirm this guy was not watching the road. You can defend Goofy all you want as being a lovable dad, but to forcefully shove your kid into a car and then not even bother to look at the road, it should put you in jail. What, to change the music? Snap out of it, Goof. You're in the middle of rush hour traffic. In his defense, I do think Goofy has pretty good taste, all things considered. If this was the old BC, I just know he'd pick something terrible like Maroon 5, but no, Goofy, he likes the classics, and you know what, I can respect that. But let's not get too carried away. This isn't the first time this reckless driving happens. In fact, it's made clear in this montage that the dude could not be worse at changing tires, an essential trait to have as a father. I'm pretty sure they got a flat tire like 3 separate times. I don't know how that's possible. And then he drives the car into the river. I mean, when Robin Williams does this in RV, it's like, yeah, shit happens. But when Goof does it, it's like, dude, get a hold of yourself. Come on. 2, he has an invasion of privacy problem. Won't spend too much time on this one as it seems like a bit of a nitpick, and if there's one thing we don't do here on dad reviews, it's pick apart small things that don't need to be talked about. But Goofy has no respect for Max's privacy. This is made clear literally in his introduction, where not only did he barge into Max's room without knocking, but he himself isn't even dressed. I mean, put some clothes on, man. It also happens when Max and his pal, the Goofy movie equivalent of Carl Weezer, are playing and eating pizza, and Goof just fucking prances on in there like he owns the place, which I guess he does in this because he rented the room, but damn it, you get what I mean. I just think he should knock, that's all. 3, he's manipulative. So now we're getting into the juicy stuff. Now, Goofy may come across as an extremely lovable character who may be a little stupid but has a lot of care in his heart. This man just wants a better relationship with his son Max. And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with a little father-son bonding, but the way he goes about having conversations with his son and then convincing his son to go on these trips is extremely manipulative. In this scene, you know, the scene where he forcefully shoves his little boy into the car, he has this line about how, oh, Max, don't crinkle my past and our future, which I'll admit is a cute line, a powerful, heartbreaking line to witness for the first time. And while it's cute, it's just manipulative to me. Because in that scene, he gives Max the puppy dog eyes and acts like a child in order to convince his son to go on this trip with him. And it's like, listen, man, if you want your son to understand you and consider this trip that, by the way, he never agreed to go on, maybe listen to him. Have a conversation with the boy, why don't you? Instead of making things all about you. Even when he gives Max trust by doing the directions, it's never about Max to begin with. It's about making himself feel like a better dad. This happens again in this scene, which really made this a tough video to put together and definitely revealed the complexities that the Goofy movie has to offer. While I definitely feel bad for old dog Goof as he sits there with a possum hat as Max throws his out into the rain, I'm also like, come on, man. Now is the time to talk to your son. No, better yet, listen to your son. Clearly, this piece of shit kid is not happy, and instead of sulking around because you didn't have it your way, maybe listen to him. This kind of drifts into a separate point that I had, which is baby. Karsten, what do you mean by baby? I'm not talking about this guy or this guy or this guy. I'm talking about this guy. Goofy is a frickin' infant the way he acts around Max. First, there was the puppy dog eyes, then there was the whole motel incident, then there's him pulling over to the side of the road only to reveal the dump truck of an ass he's had this entire time. I gotta get this off my chest. Now, I'd never with Goofy. He's just not my type, but I can't deny this dude is packing some serious heat in the bottom department. Doesn't matter what pants he's wearing, even if those pants are technically shoes, and I gotta respect a fit like that. My point is, the dude is always bringing something to the table with an ass like that, and any man who puts a certain level of attention into his butt deserves some respect. He also reminds me of Pete Davidson in some ways. I'll let you guys figure that one out. But back to comparing him to a 1-year-old, he's super immature to me. Half of this movie feels like Max trying to parent his dad, which is a problem, because Max isn't even a good dude, and that's a separate video altogether. There's nothing wrong with being sad, sad or angry or even disappointed in your son. But to shut down like that and not handle the situation like an adult, one, what kind of example is that setting for your own kid? And two, you should know by now that that isn't going to solve a damn thing. A lot of this can be boiled down to Goofy's biggest problem, which is bad expectations. This relationship between Max and Goofy definitely heals and improves over the course of the film. That's how films work. But Goofy's character is fundamentally toxic and unchanged by the end because Goofy wants Max to grow up to be like him, and that's a dumb thing. While sure Goofy learns to adapt and trust his son, he still views him as Goofy too, instead of Max. He's never actually listening to what his son has to say. In fact, he never works for Max. Max is always working and trying to fix himself for his dad. And sure, Max isn't the best son in the world. I think we can all agree we want to give him a wedgie, but he's like this because he was raised by Goofy. And rather than coming to terms with this and doing something to fix this even a little bit, Goofy continues to set a bad example and morph Max into something that's already broken. There isn't anything that wrong with Max finally seeing his dad as someone to look up to and admire by the end, but there is something wrong with Goofy not fully grasping what it is that he is doing wrong and continuing to manipulate his son down a toxic path. But hey, Goofy has a lot of good going for him. He is a very lovable father with a fantastic taste in music and one hell of a dump truck. He's also someone who likes to have a good time and seek out adventure, which is something I'd see in a great father. It just sucks that that adventure, at least in the film, reads as only being there for him. So anyways, that's my take on Goofy. I'm going to give him a solid C as in coward. Thanks for watching. Watch the Goofy movie and form your own opinion. And before you head out, I want to give a quick thank you to this week's sponsor, Squarespace. Now, Squarespace, if you didn't already know, is a place where you can go online to take that idea that you've had and push it a step further by turning it into a beautiful website. Whether it be an online store, a blog, a portfolio, they have tons of options to make whatever you want to make look amazing. Part of that is because of their wide array of award-winning designer templates that will fit your style no matter what it is. They have a ton of professional portfolio designs to present your work in any way you want while still making it look amazing. They have 24-hour customer service to walk you through any issues you run into. To top it all off, if you go to squarespace.com/Karsten, that's my name, you can get 10% off of your first order. As you can tell, there's really no reason not to check it out. Thank you, Squarespace, once again for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.